It's actually coming on. Wow. Oh, let's see. Just a goddamn. Backspace. Control V. Backspace. Hit this again. Hit the old copy. Back over here. Control V. So this adorable little girl wanted who to vote for who? Here we go.
What's wrong?
I just didn't want her to vote. I just wanted her to vote for Donald Trump.
Who?
Donald Trump.
Who did you want to vote for Donald Trump?
Taylor Swift.
She didn't vote for Donald Trump? And that makes you sad? Why? Do you like Donald Trump? So are you going to listen to Taylor Swift music anymore?
I want to because she's my favorite.
She's your favorite?
Both of them are my favorite.
Oh, Taylor Swift and Donald Trump?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why she didn't want to vote for Donald Trump.
I don't know either, baby. You're sad about it?
So, how can you? That was a 100%, man. Break it. Taylor Swift broke that little girl's heart. Here's some Gen Zers, whatever you call them, trolling Kamala and the rats. Here we go.
We tell you why we're so mad that Kamala didn't get elected president. I just really was excited to see my future daughter get destroyed by men in sports, you know. Would have been a proud mom moment.
I've never ever in my entire life wanted to be a homeowner or like marry someone who wanted to be a homeowner. And so it just sucks now that houses will probably be a little bit more affordable. I just wanted to live in an apartment the rest of my life.
I wanted my future son to be able to use a tampon in a men's restroom without being judged. Or just like in general.
It just sucks to me that the border is going to have more restrictions now. I wanted drugs to be more readily available for people who really needed them in their life. I thought it was something that's good for our economy, good for the homeless population.
I was really excited to lose all these boys to World War III, trying to get out of our hair.
I really wanted my third grader to learn about sexual reassignment surgery and stuff like that. I just don't understand why people wouldn't want their kids to learn about that. It breaks my heart that people want to keep that secret from their kids, teach them young.
You know, I was excited to keep paying $4 for gas. If you can't afford it, you don't deserve it.
I was really hoping that if Kamala became president, she would take back the abortion rights and put it in the hands of the government rather than the states. I just want my daughter to be able to have that option in case she does get pregnant in high school. I'm sure she'll be sleeping around. So.
You know, there's college. She has to go to college next.
College, yeah. I just want her to be able to have an abortion if she really needs it.
Yeah, like she wouldn't have to lift a finger if it was Kamala.
Exactly.
I was really looking forward to the motivational opportunity that I would get by going on campus to the women's restroom and seeing some male genitals. I would have been so motivated to study.
I know, I've gotten so excited.
Yeah.
I really just wanted my child to be able to have a transition and make that decision for himself whenever he's young. I don't think that he needs to be 18 to decide what he can and can't do with his body. He's literally knows exactly what he wants to do. If he wants to be a female, then he can do that. And
Trump, quit taking away our rights.
it breaks my heart that people think that they shouldn't be able to do that.
No. I wouldn't rush to bomb us because I'm single and I really wanted to meet a Russian boy, a cute little Russian boy, or Putin.
Yeah.
There's fucking slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the Evil FB Network and Rumble. Check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire on Rumble. On this Veterans Day, we want to thank all veterans out there that are living and those 1.5 million who fought, bled, and died on the battlefield of that to give us the greatest country in the history of the world. And judging from last Tuesday, maybe we got a shot of keeping it that way, at least for a little bit. As Ronald Reagan said, we're only one generation away from losing our freedoms, liberty, and everything we have. It takes a long way to get here. It takes like that to lose it. So we've had little bump in the road the last few years. Looks like things are getting straightened out. We'll get into a little bit of it today. Tom Homan. We have a real border czar, not a doofus like the last one we had. We'll have some tapes on that. Dr. Kelly Victory will be with us at the bottom of the hour on that. Also, Stephen Miller, who was at who's been most of the rallies, was at the Coachella rally and spoke. Very close confidant of Donald J. Trump, is going to be Assistant Chief of Staff in charge of policy. It was announced today. On top of that, Lee Zeldin was announced as the new head of the Department of Environmental Protection Agency, and we hope that's on the chopping block. And we hopefully get to the tape. Not tomorrow. Donald J. Trump says he's going to eliminate the Department of Education. I really hope it comes to fruition this time. Jimmy Carter created it in 79. Ronald Reagan ran on 80. I'm going to get rid of it. Right out of the box he tried to. We've still got it today. Get the federal government out of education. Period. They do not need to be involved in it. That should be a state and mostly local issue. We don't need, if you don't like the place you're living in or the way your kids are educated, you can move. And I mean, I know that people are saying this, that. Hey, we all make choices. Florida has the lowest teacher salaries. When you adjust it for benefits and everything, California's probably on top. New Jersey's like right neck and neck with us. We're in the bottom of the ranks. Florida's in the top 50 percentile. We're in the bottom 10 on education. So it's not about teachers, money, and all this other stuff as a factor. We got plenty of it in California, $24,000 per student. I think when you boil it all down and you really get some honest numbers, we're L number 10 on that. But that adorable little girl is heartbroken because Taylor Swift didn't vote for Donald Trump. I mean, and that goes to blow away how many of you thought, there'd be a lot of Swifties for Trump? But there are. Look at that little, and I mean that 6-year-old girl, but 18 to 29-year-olds shifted 11 points from the 2020 election of Joe Biden to Donald J. Trump. They are 11, the lowest 18 to 29-year-olds, which is mostly Zoomers, maybe a couple late millennials or whatever, but mostly Zoomers, 11-point shift from Biden to Donald J in 4 years. Majority of Hispanic males voted for Trump. 25% of black males, probably 15% African Americans, blacks, probably about 40% of that. And the women shifted almost, blacks doubled, even black women doubled their percentage. It was about 6 and 12. Now it's going to be about 12 and 25. Same, about 50% both for females and male Hispanics. Younger people, Zoomers, 18 to 29-year-olds. Big shift to Donald J. Trump. Trump won across the board. Practically every demographic, every area, however you want to calculate it. He'll probably be around, well, he was up to 40%. Maybe as LA County comes in, he'll probably wind up about 38% in California. He was 33 and 4 years ago. He gained about 5. Harris is going to lose about 5. Biden was at 63. Harris is now about 58. She might, 57, 58. She might climb up a percentage or two because, LA is notoriously late on counting the vote, and that's a humongous Democrat area. But LA County has shifted to Trump. LA County shifted. California shifted. 10 counties and major ones. Orange County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County. Major population, that's about 7 million people? Probably 3.5 million voters. 4.5 million registered voters in that. Big shifts. Big, humongous shifts. In the bluest of states, even though we were so far down, that's why a Pennsylvania, a Michigan, an Arizona, a Wisconsin, a Nevada, all flipped. Georgia. Look at Florida Florida is now a red state. Florida is a more red state than Texas. Go look it up. It's stunning, some of the demographic changes we got coming on in here, not only in our area. Looks like we may be neutral, maybe lose, maybe gain a seat. There's 2 congressional seats. Mike Garcia, he's down about 1% in the San Fernando Valley area. He's a Republican. The open seat of Katie Porter, Scott Baugh was in the lead. Dave Min just took a lead, about 0.5 percentage point or so on that. If we lose those 2, or if they both go Democrat, it'll mean probably a -1 in California. If they split, it'll be even. If the Republicans somehow pull out both, they'll actually add a seat, the former Katie Porter seat. So that's still up in the air. I know they're curing ballots. The Leticia Castillo race, 80-58. She's up by about a point in the assembly race. If we hold on to Greg Wallace, which is San Bernardino, right in Redlands down through Palm Springs area, if we hold on to that, we might get a +1 in the assembly with that seat. If we hold on to Wallace's seat, there's 1 Senate seat, we might get a 1+. Not as good as we could have been. If we'd had our strategy, we could have won 58 and Senate 31 out here in the Inland Empire, but that's probably water under the bridge. Well, there's positives, though. Positives all across the board on this. So hopefully we will build on this. The transition's coming with Tom Homan as the borders are. That's going to get fixed, and fixed extremely fast, I believe. I believe there's because Tom won't, if there's ever a no-nonsense guy in everywhere, in any sort of politics, he was head of ICE during the Trump administration. He's the one that was in charge of the policies to get it stopped. Don't screw around. We could not have a better border czar than this guy, Tom Homan. hands down. This is him at one of the hearings when little Missy AOC was going to try to make a point on how big mean Donald Trump and that racist Tom Homan are mistreating the illegals coming across the border, and this and that. Here is a little archives from In Wokeness on the X Machine.
Mr. Holman, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Tom Homan. Oh, being the border czar? Holy cow. I mean, I'm glad he's coming back. I'm sure he's getting up there. I'm sure that's why he didn't go back to running ICE of that. And it's absolutely fantastic that we have a guy the caliber of Tom Homan back overseeing that, because all you got to do, you want to send somebody up to Capitol Hill who's not going to take any crap from anybody and who's going to get the job done. It's this guy right here, Tom Homan. Could not be happier. He is back overseeing the immigration policy and in charge, the real border czar. Not a phony border czar, not a stupid border czar, a competent guy that knows how to get the job done and is not going to back down just because you try to scream racism or evil rich white guy or whatever. Tom Homan very politely said, "Stick it up your ass, AOC. You don't know what you're talking about, Missy." Man. Superb. 100% best pick we could have. This from Bill Malusian, the great Fox, was out here, Fox 11, Fox National Border, new Border Patrol, and ICE morale is surging following Trump's win and appointment of Tom Homan as border czar. I reached out to a handful of contacts to gauge the temperature, and it sounds like a night and day change. ICE officer, it's a total 180. Troops are finally feeling like the sun is coming out after a very long storm. People are fired up to have support. It's amazing because we all became so numb. I don't think we realized how bad it was until we finally have hope again. Everyone is so happy about Homan's return. The ICE agent, the whole Border Patrol agents are ecstatic Tom Homan's back in. Now they can do their jobs. It's about time. Man, oh man, oh man. It's could not be happier that that guy is coming back. Because lordy, lordy, lordy. We all had the story Friday, a hearing in Riverside. It was one of the most surreal hearings held in Riverside. The California Air Resources Board, the Mary Nichols Center in Riverside at 4001 Iowa, Friday. It's a 14-member board. 12 of them voted to raise your gas taxes 65 cents a gallon or more. This will affect the lowest of income people. This guy right here is on the California Air Resources Board and 4th District Riverside County Supervisor, former Assemblyman in California, Victor Manuel Perez. And he voted yes. It's a crying shame. This is the video. This is the first one of the vote from Dr. Elaine Boozler. Oh, excuse, that was the comic. Elaine Randolph. She's the chair. Listen to this.
Do I have a second?
That lady is the chair of the California Air Resources Board. And I will save you the idiocracy of that woman and most of the members on there. They were completely nuts. But as I said in my 2 minutes, and I was very disappointed there wasn't a lot of people from the Inland Empire area down there protesting this, because as the California Legislative Analyst's Office and anyone else with half a brain, this is going to affect the lower income you are, the more percentage your money pays for electricity, for natural gas, for gas, diesel. It will hurt them the most. People of well means, they could care less. They're going to pay the 60. Elon Musk could care less if you're charging $80 a gallon. Robert De Niro or all these, Taylor Swift, broke that poor little girl's heart not voting for Donald Trump. How could you do that, Taylor? Anyway, that is the heart crusher. The heart crusher. This is Manny Perez, Riverside County Board of Supervisor and California Air Resources Board member, voting to raise your gasoline 65 cents a gallon. Here we go.
Warner? Yes. Supervisor Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rechtschaffen?
Yes.
There you have it. Mr. Perez, Victor Manuel Perez, right there, voting yes to raise your gas prices 65 cents a gallon. Just remember this. He's up for re-election in 2 years in 26. Represents mainly the lower desert area, Palm Springs, Indio, Coachella, Blythe. I think it comes up kind of into close to Hemet, but mainly the whole lower desert region. If you don't vote this guy out, if you're not down there at the California Air Resources Board when they have meetings, they have them in Riverside. This was your chance. This was your chance to make your voice heard to the people in Sacramento that are screwing you over with the inflation and the gas price at $5 a gallon and the food, $1.99 eggs and everything else. Remember Victor Manuel Perez, Manny Perez, supervisor. Every time you look at that pump and every time you pay that bill and your gasoline bill for your car, your electricity bill, your natural gas is going to skyrocket with his vote. It's a crying shame what goes on. But, as they say, that's the facts, Jack. Another disturbing story we had to deal with out of Moreno Valley is the teacher whom in Valley View High School, it was reported at Corey DeAngelis. It's been all over the news this weekend. I heard it on KNX, KFI, all that. The teacher has been put on leave. Here's what went on. These are audio recordings from Corey DeAngelis as he posted them on Twitter. There's going to be bad language in here. This is what the language you're using in the classroom.
Donald Trump won because we had low voter turnout. People didn't want to vote. He won because white women didn't show up and vote for Kamala Harris. He won because black men and brown men didn't show up and vote for Kamala Harris. Let me tell you, I know a lot of Latino men on this campus, adults and students, that love Donald Trump. And he's called their mothers rapists. He's called their fathers rapists. He's called them criminals. He called them the poison in the blood of our country. They want to vote for him, and they did vote for him.
Wonder where he got that rhetoric. How many of the fruitcakes you've seen out there said, oh, you don't have to tell your husbands how you vote. They might be these evil Trump supporters. Oh, they're evil straight white male. All he wants to do is grab you by the hair and drag you into the bedroom and all that BS. Barack Obama, racist in chief, was saying, you brothers, you ain't voting for Kamala because she's a woman and she's black. What's the matter with you? See why we call Barack Obama the racist in chief? That wasn't stunning enough. Now watch. This is the language that's being used in your classroom. Remember? Oh, we don't do this. We didn't put this book in the hands of every employee at Moreno Valley Unified School District. Oh, no, we didn't do that. Not because the document said it, and because you did. And you've been promoting hate and racism, and you say you don't, and it's pervasive. Sonia Shaw, the great president from Chino Valley, is exactly right. Here, if you got kids in the car and you don't like them hearing the F and S word, please cover their ears or if they're at home or whatever. This is what's going on at Valley View High School, Moreno Valley, California.
This shit is not a fucking game. Does that make sense, everybody? Can't emphasize this enough. Can you end up in a concentration camp in your lifetime? Yes. Can you end up with no human rights? Yes. Will it happen to you? Most likely not. Which is a good thing. But has Donald Trump quoted Hitler? Yes. Does he embody some of Hitler's ideas? Yes.
What in the hell? Embodied Hitler's ideas, quoted Hitler. The whole, concentration camp. Go ask the J6ers. When the cops let them in and they're trespass, how do you trespass when somebody invites you in? Oh no, they won't. Look what they did to Trump. Himself, every idiotic. Here's more.
I know a lot of Latino men that wish they were white, and they'll never admit it to you. A lot of your fathers, a lot of your uncles, a lot of your grandfathers. God, they want to be white so bad. They never will be. Hate that shit. I hate Latino men that oppress the women in their family, their own daughters, and they turn around and vote for men that want to oppress them. I love being Mexican American. I love my community.
Now you see why we played those two Zoomers who were trolling dudes like this, Kamala Harris, the nutcases, the men haters all across this country, and the rhetoric we've heard for 4 months, for 6 months, or whenever Comrade Kamala, against all democracy, not one vote, was installed as a Democratic nominee for president.
God, I fucking hate the patriarchy. If you're a young man right now in front of me, I hope you hate it too. Because it's not hurting you, it's hurting everyone you love. You get the privilege of not being born with uterus, so it doesn't affect you. It's affecting everyone else. I'm so fucking sorry, guys. You deserve better. Look at me. You deserve better.
This is going on in Valley View High School in Moreno Valley, California. Luis Palomares has been saying for decades, Karen Johnson, the principal, Rice, the principal, going back further, there's a dumpster fire going in on that particular school. And the school board has been to practically every school board meeting. And the school has constantly ignored her, blew her off, basically says you're a nutcase, don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this stuff gets in. When I brought this book up to them and I used their own stuff to show that they put it in, the racist crap that your school boards, administrative staff, and everybody pushed. So did McCormick do it and Valverde School District. And they say, oh, we don't do that. No critical race theory. Well, you call it something else. Well, okay, technically, you ain't right. You're right. So you call it something else. This is who you have. We now have audio proof of what's going on in the classroom. And it's stunning. How much of this goes on that we don't know about? It's really, really, really telling. And I really don't even,
30 seconds, Roy. 30 seconds.
I was almost positive it was without being in there. And people have been telling me this for decades. It's been there, and they keep denying it. How are they going to deny it now? As Sean said, we'll be joining the net on KMET of going in that because I think they're having a no-balls game on the regular.
Here we go. 10 seconds.
We'll have Dr. Kelly on and carry on.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Program producer and not endorsed by this station. Whereas not necessarily
There's funky slide guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday, live at 5:30. Well, on the net, on the Mighty Met, 1490 AM. Broadcasting all over the world today on that, like we are on the net on IE Newswire. Going forward, we had the intro of the very adorable young lady who was on there, who was just heartbroken because Taylor Swift did not vote for Donald J. Trump. And then the Zoomers that were trolling not only Comrade Kamala, but all the Democrats and everybody else that were just just having a heart attack of all the misogynists and this and that and the racism and everything else. And they did a heck of a job trolling that. Of course, we want to wish all veterans a happy Veterans Day going forward on today, and we want to give thanks to all those that have served and will on that we have, it seems, we owe these guys a great debt to our society. Not only those who have served that are still with us, but the 1.5 million that fought, bled, and died to keep us free on that. And I think we staved off for another 4 years, it seems like, for that we won't give up our freedoms and everything that we have in this country. But as Ronald Reagan said, freedom is only one generation away from going away, and we better protect it like nobody's business going on. Oh man, my phone system's having a meltdown, it seems. Did I got you, Dr. Kelly? I didn't think so. Of that, we'll see if it, we'll try and reset it here, and we'll see if it, I'm going to see if it works this time. Hopefully. I think I got you now. Do I got you, Dr. Kelly?
You do.
Finally, it went. Those same gremlins. I mean, it's been going good for about 6 months. I haven't had any trouble with the phone system, and then whatever this gremlin that was going on before popped up. But we have you back on the line of that. I'm going to jump right into it. Of course, you were on the day before Donald J. Trump was in. My prediction was Trump was going to win by 1% in the popular vote, and obviously the Electoral College of that. I figured he would carry most, if not all, the swing states, which he did of that. So I think I'm doing pretty good on that prediction. I said the only caveat is if they crook it, but I think I was more confident in 2024 that we had taken the necessary steps and it was too big to rig, and it was. And on this Veterans Day, at least I think we've staved off losing the freedoms that we've had, and all the opportunity we've had in almost 250 years here. Brighter days are ahead, Dr. Kelly Victory. Hello. Did I lose you again? Oh, man. My lovely phone system is going to hell again. After all that, and then it goes bang. We'll see if we see it. I went through all that nice, all that great introduction, and then preview, and then now do I have you again?
You do, and what I was saying is that you are 100% right, Roy. Listen, my feet haven't hit the ground since Wednesday morning. I am still walking on air. But I will tell you, like you, I had firmly believed that Trump would win in a landslide if there weren't cheating. And so I was terrified. I don't know about you, but I could not go to sleep on Tuesday night. I stayed up until about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30, because I was watching videos of SUVs with California plates showing up at places like Philadelphia and Detroit. And I'm saying, oh my Lord, they are doing it again. How can they do this? And so fortunately, with regard to the presidential election, 100% it was too big to rig. You can call it what you want. I call it a referendum. There is no question it was not just, uneducated white women like myself who voted for Donald Trump. It was also, bigots and racists like yourself, and Black Americans and Hispanic Americans and Asian Americans and Indian Americans. Everybody came out and voted for Donald Trump. I think this is a referendum. And now the biggest issue that we are fighting is their attempt to steal, and that's what they are trying to do, and hopefully will not be successful, to steal the congressional elections. There's no question, delays in election reporting equals fraud. Delay equals fraud. So we are watching it very carefully.
100%. I mean, I'm from California, Riverside County, California. I mean, we go back, we've had some of the most crooked elections. Go back to when we sued them in 2005. The judge said, yeah, you got crooked out of it, but the election's over. Hey, we did get paper ballots after that. We went back again and more, and now this mail-in ballot stuff and that. And Trump said it. And he said, and besides the Tom Homan deal of we got a real border czar, which, I mean, again, that's like off the charts of that. But he said, we're going to go back to same-day voting, paper ballots, voter ID, across which they can do if we've got the House and the Senate. And, and I think Trump's got a bigger mandate with winning the popular vote and everything else, and shifting a lot of demographics practically everywhere of that. Because he can, the federal government is in charge of election. Now, the state could have a separate ballot for your other ones, but the federal officers, president, U.S. senator, congressman, the federal government can say, hey, you can mail all the other ballots for all your state stuff or locals all you want, but everybody's voting on Tuesday, November, whatever, 2026 and 28 and whatever. And if that comes about, then the states are going to have a bigger, harder time trying to pull all this stuff. But that's the safest way we got is mainly people show up to the polls on voting day, vote, you count it. Look how quick Florida got it done. And that's basically what they do. That's what we need to go back to, Dr. Kelly.
Oh, I think 100%. That's the reality. That's how voting always was. Anytime you allow for this extended voting period, mail-in ballots, all of this, you are giving opportunity after opportunity for fraud and for human error, and for the vagaries of whatever it is, weather or anything else. We have got to go back to same-day voting, with the rare exception, for example, of people in the military or somebody who has a reason why they cannot be there in person. That would cut down on a ton of this fraud. I think if it's unclear to anybody before, we have now proven, without a question at all, that the 2020 election was stolen. We know, and everybody acknowledges, there was a bigger turnout in this presidential election than ever before in the history of our country. Yet somehow there were more votes for Joe Biden in 2020. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. The numbers don't add up, and it's clear that that was stolen. We cannot allow that to happen again. And the fact that we are, a week into this now, more than a week, and are still counting ballots in Arizona? Are you kidding? Banana republics get it done faster than this.
Oh, well, we're in California saying they'll take the whole 30 days to vote count all the ballots and everything of going in. When we did it paper ballots, most people voted on voting day at their polling place. It was counted at your precinct. You had a scanner there. You ran all the ballots through. You took the numbers down. You poured it in. You boxed up all the ballots. They came by and picked them up, sent them down to headquarters. So if there was any disputes or recalls or recounts or whatever you want to say, then it was done. And you were done. And you had, by by Wednesday morning at the latest, you knew what 98.7% versus the close races where you're getting the last in or provisional ballots or whatever last few absentees like military ballots are coming in. But you basically knew by the next day, at the most, where practically every race was. And as I've said, I don't care how you do it. The more processes you put in, the longer you drag things out, just even if there's nothing going on, like you pointed out, human error, machine error, things that are failing. There's no perfect system, but the best one we've got is same day voting. Vote at the polls. You're done with it. If you don't make it, you don't make it. Too bad. That's the way it is, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree, and I would be in support of and have passed on to the powers that be that I think if we can get back to that, I would be in support of making Election Day a national holiday, okay? Because, people who have jobs, people who have jobs and otherwise would not be able to vote because of that job, that's not fair. So if you instead say, okay, we're going to make a change. We're going to make one additional national holiday, which will be Election Day, so that every American has the opportunity to go to vote. That would actually work this out. And you would remove 98% of the opportunity for, these shenanigans that go on and the fraud that goes on. You would bring it back and stop this. We don't have an election day. We have election season. It's ridiculous. It's a quarter of the year that people are doing this, and it really just translates into fraud, and we cannot allow that.
Actually, I would say we don't even need a new day for a holiday. Why don't we just do it on Veterans Day like today? You could say
I think that's,
And we already get, most people are already taking it off, at least especially all the government workers are already off anyway. Why not say Veterans Day, 11/11, whatever day that falls on is Election Day. We'll celebrate Veterans Day, and what better day on Veterans Day to go out and vote? I think it's a win-win for everybody.
I agree. And something that simple, Roy, could remove all of this stuff. So, we're still watching it. We really are in a fight still. By the way, I still am somewhat concerned, as elated as I am about this landslide, and I do believe it's a referendum. I am not sleeping well at.
Uh-oh, did we drop Dr. Kelly again?
Don't tell me you dropped.
Oh, there you
again.
go.
No,
You kind of, maybe that was just the
Yeah.
phone signal. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, I have some concerns about what they may try to do. I've said for a long time, I still believe that they may try to ensconce Kamala Harris in the Oval Office prior to January, if for no other reason than to say that she ended up being the first female president, and they can have that feather in their cap. But my concern is that we may still be looking at some efforts to create civil unrest, to install martial law. I think we are at a very, very tenuous time in the next, whatever it is, 70 days in our nation's history. And so I think people need to remain vigilant, keep your eyes open. I am hopeful that we will continue with the sense of calm, because I'm hopeful that really the reason it is so quiet out there is because ultimately many, many more people are relieved that Donald Trump was elected than not. Even, they led us to believe, the Democrats wanted to lead you to believe that women would go in there, lie to their husbands, say they were voting for Trump, and vote for Kamala Harris. I think it was the opposite. I think it's a bunch of people, men and women, who told their colleagues, their neighbors, their family, oh, yeah, Kamala all the way. And then they went in and pulled the lever for Donald Trump. And that's what we saw. So I think, I'm hopeful that that's why we're seeing relative calm, because people are truly relieved. But I would tell people, remain vigilant, keep your eyes open, because I am not 100% certain that the liberals and the cabal, and that's what it is, starting from, whoever that is, the CCP and George Soros and Zuckerberg and Gates and all the rest of the Antichrist wannabes, are, what they have in store, what they would like to do.
I don't know who's going to be Attorney General, and I know this guy is not going to be Attorney General because he'd never get past confirmed, but I'm almost certain Mike Davis is going to be Assistant Attorney General. Trump has said we're going to investigate, we're going to look into all of the stuff that are going in. I'm going to say if Mike Davis is Assistant Attorney General, this might be his first or 1A target. You posted this video for Fox News on the X machine. Here we go.
Protected legally, you were going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit.
If that isn't damning enough evidence just right there from Anthony Fauci, amongst all the other stuff that they can bring out. But you want to talk about the law is a lot on intent in my layman's view of this. The law is a lot on intent. If if you can prove you really, you broke the law, but you really didn't intend to, or you didn't know or something, not that it is 100%, but it can be used as a defense or it could be used to make it leniency. But that right there shows, I believe, 100% what Anthony Fauci and the establishment intent was. And like I've said, this stuff does not change unless the Faucis, the Dasics, the Barracks, and that are not breaking rocks in Leavenworth until they're looking at the bottom of those rocks in there, Dr. Kelly.
No, 100%. I got to tell you, Anthony Fauci is not hyperbole to say that these are crimes against humanity. We really should be having Nuremberg 2.0. These are things he lied in front of Congress. He lied about gain of function. He lied about these things. He abused his power and his position to manipulate the behavior of Americans, to make their lives miserable, to deny them informed consent and personal medical autonomy and the things that are guaranteed to them as civil rights, as human rights. The code of ethics for medicine, the 4 pillars begin with pillar number 1, which is medical autonomy. And Anthony Fauci was participant in denying millions of people personal medical autonomy. We have got to hold him to account. We've got to not only investigate this, but there have to be repercussions. There is no moving forward, at least not in Kelly Victory's world, without contrition and without accountability. People will never trust public health and public health officials ever again if we don't hold these people to account.
I think, like they just did with Tom Homan, I think they should just make Robert F. Kennedy Jr. the health czar. Just he's overseeing he can look at EPA or HHS or whatever he wants to look at as far as the health stuff goes, because this stuff is so intertwined and stuff. If you put somebody in charge of one specific spot, and that's why I like the deal of Tom Homan not being just ICE director or something, but just being the border czar, because that gives him the freedom to just look at everything in that deal. And I think they should do the same. That's what I would do with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'd say, okay, you are the health czar. Whatever you want, it's your baby. You want to look at this, investigate this, you want to document there, your ball game, go for it, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree. He should really have a very broad purview and broad oversight of all of these things. I'd like to keep him from getting pigeonholed in one area because I think he has great insight. And I think he can he can keep a lot of balls in the air at once. So that for me is what I hope. I agree. He is very determined to disarticulate the cozy relationship of big pharma with everything from our medical schools to the journals, and hopefully will really first off, I think the first order of business is to make it illegal for pharmaceutical advertising on television. You know, the United States is only one of 2 countries in the world. It's the United States and New Zealand that allow pharmaceutical advertising on television. Be very clear. You know, pharmaceutical companies don't advertise on TV because they think they'll sell an extra dose or 2 of Ozempic. They do it because they can control the media. They do it because if they own you, they own what you will or won't say, which is why so many people, including on the conservative quote unquote networks like Fox News, were unwilling to say a bad word about the COVID vaccines because they were, you know, they couldn't. They are owned by big pharma. Roger Ailes, the former CEO of Fox News, wanted to get rid of pharmaceutical advertising on Fox years ago, but he said he couldn't afford to because they represent 70% of the advertising dollars. So the first thing that I think Robert Kennedy Jr. needs to do in whatever position he's in is to eliminate pharmaceutical advertising on television, then move on to the medical journals, the amount of money that these pharmaceutical companies are spending on medical schools and funding them, because we cannot have veracity in medical research. We cannot have truth in the media. We cannot allow Americans or physicians don't have access to the real data or the truth about any of these things until we clean this mess up.
Thanks for being on, Dr. Kelly. We'll do this again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, Roy.
Dr. Kelly Victory saying it only as she can. Man, oh man. Happy days are, like they say, are here again. We turned the corner, but now the work begins. And I got confidence in Donald Trump bringing on Tom Homan. I think Lee Zeldin's fine for EPA. Stephen Miller for Assistant Chief of Staff. We'll see how the rest. And he's doing this is the difference between Trump 16 and 24. Trump was, who do we put in this position, that position? That it was late coming on. He's doing exactly the right thing. He's getting his cabinet laid out. Boom, 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 boom. They're going to be hitting the ground running come January 20th, 2025, instead of trying to figure out measuring the drapes and all that other stuff or trying to figure out what's going on. No, they're going to have a plan in place. They're going to have a team in place. They're going to have, then it come January 20th, it's time to execute it. And executed, I think they will, like nobody's ever seen. And I guarantee you, and everything ain't going to be smooth, but I guarantee you that you'll love the end result. It will absolutely be fabulissimo. As you know, I've been talking about standing up for our country, doing something. These big box stores stayed open while the little guys closed. Will our voices be heard? Does voting with our dollars work? PatriotSwitch.com gives patriots the power to walk away from the big box stores forever. Stop supporting the enemies of freedom now. That's why PatriotSwitch.com was created, for those who support America. PatriotSwitch.com. Is your car doing the hucklebuck and afraid you will be stuck? Well, head on down to Toyota of San Bernardino, Nissan of San Bernardino, Subaru of San Bernardino, in the San Bernardino Auto Mall, and catch a Camry. Look ravishing in a Rogue, or be styling in a Subaru. Don't forget I-10 Toyota in Indio for those of you in the lower desert. You deserve to be the happiest human on the planet. So head on down to one of these 4 great dealerships for the car of your dreams. Spread the word. IE Newswire is now on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 p.m. on Rumble and KMET 1490 AM, 5:30 to 6 p.m. Join all the cool kids who want an eclectic look at the news without all the filters of the evil scoundrels of social media and the despicable dorks of the dominant press. Don't bumble and stumble. Subscribe to IE Newswire on Rumble and roll with the best hillbilly hoedown around. That's it. If you want to buy American, go to PatriotSwitch.com. If you need a new Subaru or Toyota, go to my click. Coming straight dealerships, San Bernardino Auto Mall at D10, 215 Freeways. Don't forget I-10 Toyota down in the lower desert. Man, oh man, what a day. Again, we want to thank all those veterans, Veterans Day, especially the 1.5 that fought, bled, and died for us to give us the freedoms and opportunity we've had for almost 250 years. It's going to be another thing. Donald Trump's going to be president for the 250th celebration of the birth of the United States of America. Isn't that sweet? Oh, man. Hosting the Olympics, hosting the World Cup. I don't know, maybe it's just our destiny. But thanks again to all the veterans here, those that are still with us, those that are not. We owe you a debt we can never fully repay. Whew. We got a lot of work to do. Victory is sweet. But again, I'm confident this time Trump's going to come in much more prepared. We're going to have the team in place. We're going to have an action plan. We're going to hit the ground running. And because we don't have time to waste, it's that much more critical 8 years later than when he came in. So, but I'm confident we're going to get the job done. That'll do it for today. As we usually say at this time, mandatory you're back here in 23 hours. Why? To hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
The proceeding was a...
All right, Roy, I will talk to you tomorrow.
You got it.